wanted to combine two topics into one. I thought I was gonna have to do two videos, but I just want to see if I can fit this into one. So I've been contemplating a lot of different perspectives on free will, and a lot of people have questions about free will. Anytime I start speaking about stuff, free will comes up, and it always goes back and forth between like the infinite and the empowered human being. And I was just realizing the singular empowered human being and the infinite at the same time in one solid form as a human body, as being creators of this experience, creators of this reality, able to either destroy the life or be the caretakers of all the life on this planet. And the words that came to mind were so there's like integrating all the aliens and like the Archons, the ETs, and like all the other stories that get merged from like the New Age sort of mentality, the New Age perspective, and just basic sort of observations of just questions that we have, normal questions, even questions that, you know, anybody might have that might bring up, just regular questions. They don't even have to go into the astronomical or astrological perspectives of anything, or the philosophical perspectives, or scientific or anything. It's kind of like just a feeling that resonates with intuition, and just a knowingness that is within everybody, that involves a heart space. That is just like, if you can get a proof for your mind or your brain, then you can get a proof for your heart. And then it's just really up. The only difference is for your brain or your mind to get that validated or verified, then you need some kind of proof, some kind of something in your physical reality that can give credibility or to whatever is being said or whatever is being expressed, and then that makes it real. But there's a heart space that exists, that is that doesn't involve science and all that other stuff necessarily. It doesn't have to necessarily involve that. Science can and I'm just using science as an example, but there are other modes of observation of reality that can relate to the intuitive fields and the unseen fields of experience that we all incorporate into this reality. But they don't need proof. They don't need like stuff like that, because it's a feeling. And then over time, that's when your proof starts to make sense. Like, because a proof could be like 20 people in one day saying one thing to you that you've never met before. That's like a synchronistic proof. So synchronistic proofs are not, they're also synchronistic truths. If you follow it, knowing that everything is connected, everything is part of one single story, and we consolidate it into a singular experience, so we can have a depth of an experience for the individual self. But it doesn't it doesn't stop there. It's all connected. So I'll start with that, and then I'll start with the ET interaction. So many people who read like Dolores Cannon's information or her books, or a lot of people mention the Archons. Dolores Cannon is just like one of the main ones who a lot of people that don't really get into the extra information fields. She's kind of known out there. Like my mom reads her books. A couple of my family members has read some of her books, and then the repetitive themes that come up in those books is an information download in itself that you can just leave it there. You don't take it and like worship it or anything. It's just information, intellectual information that can be utilized to connect dots from here to here and here to here and here to here, and then you can see a bigger picture being put together. So the Archons are part of this picture, and they deal with so I'm not a professional in the Archons or anything, but I have tuned in to observing this reality and this relationship to the Archon frequency, as far as the manipulation that gets controlled, the manipulation that gets moved around with generations over time, and then how those generations are reflected individually in each person. So like a child being not responsible in a sense, but having the timelines of previous generations is existing in one singular experience in its own fashion, in order to clear whatever karmic patterns or whatever. I'm not saying all this weight exists like down on somebody, but it exists as part of our field to either do something with or not. And if we don't, then it's kind of like work undone. But the way it exists today, it doesn't have to, it's not like a requirement, it's not as heavy as it used to be. Like after 2012, like we're more individual creators now, in the sense that we're not linked to like the tribe mentality and the old school mentalities that interact with karma like that on a bigger scale. That's a lot of what the 2012 shift was about. It's about owning our power and owning our creator space and realizing that it exists, and then amplifying it into a field that has never been done before, and then reintegrating the tribe within that space, and then what that tribe could look like with individuals, warriors, shaman, elders, part of that tribe that aren't limited by any kind of constraints that have been downloaded. So like as far as the Archons, I wanted to hit on real quick. So there's like, it's a gift to come to this planet. Like in order to come to this experience, you gotta like do a lot of things. You gotta be qualified. You have to be qualified in order to come to this planet. And the whole mind trip is to treat people and to calibrate people as if they're not qualified at all. In fact, they are slaves. And that's the extreme version of this free will experience, and I'll get to that in a second. Is that, yeah, you come down here with the potential of gold, but the societal, your surroundings is going to be forever convincing you that you are less than lead. Like you are a heavy burden on this reality, that you are weight, that you're nothing, you're pretty much worthless. And that there's a group of people or types of people or whoever, however people want to categorize it, that have stuff, and there's other people that don't have stuff, and that stuff is energy. I'll just say energy right there. And right now we see the minority of people, the 0.001% of the people that hoard all the energy, natural resources, shelter, food, water. They hoard all this stuff from the majority because they have understood that the game itself and how to manipulate these rules within a system. And the Archons are how I have experienced it, and I'm still unlocking this information. Is the Archons work in a space of moving energies here and there. So like a chessboard, the way the chessboard is set up. How I've seen the Archons work is that they're in charge of setting up the chessboard. And the chessboard, the way it's set up, and my brother used to say this all the time when he was a good chess player, he'd say, you had to see anytime you play chess, who makes the first move. So that's the way the game is set up. White always goes first, so that's a strategic advantage that is not spoken about, and it happens in the first move. And if you don't catch that first move, if you don't catch the rules and the engagement of the first move, then you become subject to everything after that. Not necessarily saying that the first move gives you an advantage over that, because other people use it differently. But overall, the way the board is set up, the way the pieces are moved, the way the pieces are designed, the way they're told they're designed, it's all a setup. And individuals have their own chess, they're built up of their own chessboard themselves. So everybody has their own knights, their own rooks, their own queen and king and everything. It's all inside. But if you don't realize the bigger chess game that's being played, then you won't be able to access your own inner chess game in order to heal yourself, unlock things, and start playing a bigger game that's involved with not only yourself but the entire collective. And you start playing like a source interaction. So this is what I was so going back to I was saying real quick in this last few minutes. So in order to maintain a status quo within the rules, like in the mainstream, you can see how our energies, like our kings and queens and rooks and knights, they get usurped. They get like, so if you have a strong sense of will or power, then you'll in a sense get placed in a scenario that can utilize that energy for a certain angle, a certain like it'll divert that energy into something that's similar to what naturally you have inside of you, of your own expression, but it also will shut down. It'll have the potential, the balance to that will be the potential to not be able to unlock that. You won't be able to unlock like the first layer of confusion that says your energy is best utilized for this. So if you're strong and everything, they say, oh, you can be like a police officer or go into the military, or you can be like something that's like, it gives you the sense of honor and courage and all this other stuff, but really it's part of a bigger story that we don't pay attention to. So that's for everybody that comes down here. It's the same reason why you get like traumatized when you're born, like baby boys that get born. You still feel pain, so you get circumcised. That's like charging, that's like triggering you into this reality. It's like, welcome to Earth. Now we're gonna cut your shit, and then you're just like traumatized forever. It sets up a foundation of trauma and desensitization for the rest of your life. You gotta dig your way out of that. So this whole mainstream game is set up like this in order to create fields and systems of interaction that don't necessarily mean for your benefit, but they exist as a challenge for you to understand yourself and understand how you can get out of that and see how it's interacting with a lot of other people too. But after that, so that's how the Archons work in like the control rooms and everything, how I'm seeing it. There's more than that, but that's part of it. So they say, okay, put this person here because they'll have these challenges here. So that's the qualifications that you bring into this reality naturally. So they can't put this person here because they will do too much good there. Or they'll do too much good. You got to challenge and put them here. Or put this lady over here because if she was over here, she'd be doing all kinds of stuff. But she's got to get out. So it's making individuals challenge themselves to understand their own potential. And then all of this exists in what I wanted to start off with, which is called what I call liquid free will. So free will exists as free will, and by me even saying that, you understand where I'm coming from. Liquid free will, it's like we exist as individuals of free will, but just imagine if we were floating in the ocean. Like, we're in the ocean. Like, if this air is just water, then you exist in that water, in that air. So you have your free will, but you also have the water around you. So that's it. Peace, love, and harmony.